And welcome to a new episode of The Simpsons Did It. I'm your host, Steven Skolansky.
And I'm your co-host, Robert Skolansky.
And this week, we're going to get a new neighbor.
We are.
I know San Jose is kind of far away, but we neighbored up with San Jose. It's kind of far from Wisconsin and Minnesota, but
yeah,
we'll just cut out the entire West Coast, or the West states, and kind of just merge them over and make them our new neighbor. But you know, people moving in next door is sometimes fun.
Can be.
I mean, I haven't got new neighbors yet in my new house, but I've got new neighbors in my old house, and they turned out really nice. So
I was the new neighbor.
You were the new neighbor, and you made a cranky neighbor, right?
No, I didn't.
No, okay. All right. So this week we have a special guest on. He has a Instagram page called San Jose Simpsons. He does. I thought it was kind of cool, just kind of looking around on Instagram at other Simpsons people, and the thing I noticed is he has a Blinky that looks like a shark. You know, like a San Jose shark, like a hockey. San Jose
awesome.
Shark. And it's blue, 3 eyes. I mean, it's done really, really well. Does a lot of other graphics. And I just assumed he's a San Jose Sharks fan. And
Boo.
I'm an Anaheim Ducks fan. So I was almost willing to, you know, say, you know what, I don't want this guy on, but I'm okay. I'm okay with a couple other California hockey fans on because the Ducks won the cup first in California, so I was kind of okay with it. But we would like to welcome to the show Kevin from San Jose Simpsons. How's it going, Kevin?
It's going good. It's pretty early over here in California.
Know.
It's like 7:30.
Yeah. Early morning podcasting is always kind of fun. I mean, we've had a few people from California on the show before, so the 2-hour time difference does affect everyone, unfortunately. So yeah, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, a couple things we do like to ask our guests off the top, and have a few extra ones for you just because of what you do. But the first question we always ask our guests is, when did you discover The Simpsons, and what made you so attached to it?
Honestly, I don't really remember like when I first started watching it, but I do remember I was like super young in elementary school. Just coming home, and my parents were always working, so I was able to watch The Simpsons. And then as I got older, I noticed like, you know, the show's pretty bad for kids, but my parents weren't around to like notice anything. And some of my friends, like, I was like, "Oh, did you watch The Simpsons?" They're like, "No, my parents won't let me watch it." I'm like, "Why?" It's a cartoon, you know?
Oh no, we had all those friends growing up where you know, it seemed like we were like the only family that was actually allowed to watch The Simpsons. And I mean, I've been around the entire Simpsons, you know, legacy, and it's just really fun to talk about them. I mean, we quote them almost every day, and it's just fun to hear other people's stories on, you know, why they love it so much. And you loved it in a way where you decided to start making merchandise based off The Simpsons. And where did that come from? Why did you want to kind of branch out and put your own spin on Simpsons merch?
I've been in like the clothing industry since like 2006. I've been making like my own like apparel. Like I have another brand called Freaky Clothing. And then during the lockdown and during COVID, you know, I was just super bored at home, so I just came up with like a daily task. So I was doing like different SJ designs, you know, since I'm from San Jose. And then I was like, oh, let me try to do like a SJ with the Simpson logo. So obviously like Marge was super easy because it was like the S with the hair.
Oh, nice.
And then I was having a hard time making the J logo. But I just kept on like watching old videos because, you know, during COVID I had nothing else to do.
Yep.
Yeah. Then I stumbled upon this episode where he was like smoking the pipe, and then, you know, kind of looks like a J. So kind of worked out that way. And then I had a big collection of toys and like collectibles I didn't want to really showcase on my other clothing page. So I was like, oh, let me just make a collectible page. And then it kind of just like snowballed into like making clothing and then toys and then that plushie.
Yeah, I mean that was really awesome. And did you have to collaborate with anyone from like Disney or The Simpsons to put any of it together, or was it kind of?
No, I'm kind of just doing it until I get a cease and desist. I mean, like, you know, I'm pretty small time, and then like I've seen so many brands do like their own different takes on The Simpsons, and like I feel like they don't really get in trouble.
Yeah, I feel like at this point, Simpsons is so big and it's been around so long that I think any promotional item is a good promotional item for The Simpsons.
It's public domain.
Yeah, at this
they've
point.
been around so long. It's public domain.
Pretty much.
After 30 years, I think that isn't that like Happy Birthday? It became such an age and became public domain. So I think The Simpsons might have hit that where, all right, you know what? Everyone gets to do Simpsons stuff.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. So this week, go ahead, Robert. You're in charge.
So as we were talking about at the top of the episode, you know, getting new neighbors. This is season 4, episode 8. The New Kid on the Block, which could be, you know, a parody of the song, or not the song, the band New Kids on the Block. I think there's also a song, and so as we know, the Simpsons like to reference a lot of things. All right, so the air date for this episode is November 11th. Or now November 12th, 1992.
So we're almost to another new year.
We are almost to another new year. Recap. Bart falls in love with his new teenage neighbor. Meanwhile, Homer sues a seafood restaurant. I love this episode so much.
It's funny to think about. I mean, obviously I haven't seen some of the early seasons in a long time, but it's fun to realize what pairings ended up happening in each of these episodes. I was not on the page of the suing the seafood restaurant was on the same episode as the New Kid.
Yeah,
I just did not remember that those were part of the same episode.
Honestly, I thought this episode was like season 8. I don't know why. I thought this was like a later season episode, and then I watched it. I'm like, oh yeah, it's this episode. I love this episode.
Yep.
So we did get a shorter intro this week. The chalkboard gag. I will not bring sheep to class.
Yeah. So Kevin, what we like to do is try to figure out, obviously, how Bart gets to write on the chalkboard every week, based on what he writes. This one seems pretty self-explanatory.
I'm guessing he sleeps a lot in class.
But
no, sheep.
He will not bring sheep to class.
Oh, you know, like when you're like counting sheep, like one sheep.
Oh, I suppose. Maybe he was caught sleeping. Yeah, okay.
Maybe.
I like that.
That's a different take. I was thinking he went. I don't think there's any local farmers in the town of Springfield. Right? Is there that anyone can remember? I don't think I can remember there being.
The only thing I can remember is when Lisa became like a vegetarian because like she went to like a petting zoo and saw like a lamb.
That's true.
And they're eating like lamb chops.
Yeah. Was that within Springfield city limits, or did they go out of town for that?
I think they were on a field trip. I can't really recall.
Yeah. So maybe that's where the sheep came from. It was kind of a hint at future sheep related episodes.
Yeah. Or Bart, maybe there was just a wandering sheep and he brought it to class.
Show and tell, man.
Yeah. So our couch gag this week is a repeat. They sit on the couch and they fall through the floor.
Yep, that's an older repeat. Definitely.
Yeah. It was from Bart Gets an F.
Yeah. So
they went back to the well.
Falling back into their old ways.
Yeah.
So we kick off the episode this week with Homer watching the TV show Hunks, which is a parody of the Fox show Studs, which I quite honestly don't remember.
I don't remember either.
Yeah, same as I never heard of that show.
Yeah, but we've learned Simpsons like to really, but then again, it was a Fox network, so they probably had a slew of shows they were allowed to not steal but parody. And so we get the guy on the show. So basically I think from what it is, it's kind of like the MTV show the dating game or similar type style where the guy's sitting on the couch asking 3 women questions. Or I guess the dating game's the girls asking 3 guys questions. But it kind of is a really early take on what reality shows are now.
Oh, yeah.
And really early 90s, we didn't have the reality series world that we live in now, but this was kind of the big start of it. And he's talking to all 3 girls, and he, leads that he had sex with all 3 of them because, I mean, why not? And he decides, he's like, well, I'll go with the one girl because she knows how to make bacon on the beach. Yeah. And, Homer's like, yes, I am with this guy. And then he daydreams about cooking bacon, on a fire on a beach.
Yeah. I will say the one thing about this episode that really struck me was all the references to sex in this episode.
Yeah.
And I don't remember The Simpsons ever being this, I guess, raunchy.
No, remember it was the one with Bart of Darkness where he pointed out all the innuendos?
He did I think that was it too. Yeah.
Plucking the pickle and there was a lot of masturbating. Yes. Innuendos in that episode.
Yeah.
And so Homer's new next door neighbor comes over. Our current next door neighbor comes over, Mrs. Glick, which unfortunately last time we get to see Mrs. Glick.
Yeah.
Kind of a sad going away party for her. But she comes over and tells them they're moving, and they have a list of things she would like Homer to do to help them sell their house, which I don't think I've ever had a neighbor that's selling their house come over and talk to me about ways to make my appearance better. But she wants Homer to wear pants when he walks in front of the window.
No.
Second, take in rotting jack-o'-lanterns from past Halloweens. And I love how they show the shot. No. They show the shot. It's like decent pumpkin from last year. Moderately okay pumpkin for the year before. Then you get down to the rotted corpse of a pumpkin with flies.
Was there 4 pumpkins there?
I think like 4 or 5.
Yeah, because we're on Treehouse 3. Well, we're on season 4, but we're on Treehouse 3. But maybe
I was kind of wondering, well, this didn't they do? Oh, they didn't do a Halloween special in the first season.
Nope.
So I was kind of thinking, for each Halloween season they just had.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been a good pull. But yeah, I think there were 4 pumpkins. Well, fourth season, so
yeah,
they've had 4 Halloweens. And then finally, cover the garbage because it's attracting wildlife. And this isn't the first time we've seen wildlife attacking the Simpsons house, but this week there's a moose eating out of the trash, and we get the Northern Exposure theme song playing as Homer tries to shoot the moose away.
I've never seen that show.
No, I've seen a few. It's really funny. Canadian or Minnesota/Canadian.
Yeah.
Kevin, have you seen Northern Exposure?
No, I never heard of that. Was that like in the early 90s?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Yep. And all their the funny thing is so this was like Canadian, like a Canadian show and making fun of how Canadians act. But the funniest part about Northern Exposure was the DVD box sets always came in either like wrapped in a flannel shirt or a like puffy parka vest. Mm-hmm. That was kind of their selling point of their DVD box set, which was always really, really funny.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've never had a moose eat out of my garbage, man. I think it'd be kind of cool.
You think it until it attacks you.
Maybe. I mean, I know California gets some pretty crazy wildlife. Have you seen anything come into your neighborhood eating out of your?
We got like a ton of like cats everywhere. They're like everywhere. It's fucking crazy.
That's really funny.
And then one of my friends' neighbor, they actually feed these cats. So there's like there's like 30 of them like in the neighborhood. It's kind of gross.
Yeah.
I know down in LA they have a peacock problem.
Okay.
So nothing as exotic as a moose, but I know Californians, you guys get mountain lions.
Yeah, like up in the hills we got like mountain lions, bobcats. I haven't really seen any.
Yeah,
that's good.
That's probably a good.
See, I've seen a lot of snakes.
Ooh, all right. So now Homer, goes outside and he's walking down his driveway and he sees some discarded stuff on the sidewalk, which we have all seen. And I usually try to stay away from free crap on people's corners, but I'll tell you, I put my stuff out on my curb, it's gone within like a day, if not sooner. So people definitely do like taking discarded stuff. But I love how Homer thinks he's. What do you think? I think he thinks he's gonna get in trouble for taking it.
Yes,
like
it's clearly garbage.
Yes,
it's clearly garbage.
And he's like pills, hangers, and he's like, okay, Homer, okay, calm down, walk back into the house, and he gets all like flustered and starts dropping pills and hangers all over the floor. He's like, Homer, you're not listening. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's just so weird how Homer thinks he's trying to get away with stealing stuff off a curb.
Yeah.
But then Homer's sitting on the couch about to take estrogen pills, which probably not a good idea, Homer.
No, probably not.
And we get our first appearance of the Sea Captain, or as his real name is, Captain Horatio McAllister.
I did not know that.
No. Did
not know that. I just knew him as the Sea Captain.
I think
I never knew he had a name.
Yeah, I think it's the only time they've actually mentioned his name on an episode.
Yeah.
Ever since then, he's the Sea Captain.
Correct.
Yeah. And so we get the commercial. All you can eat at the Flying Dutchman.
Frying Dutchman?
Oh, no, sorry, the Frying Dutchman, which is a take on the Flying Dutchman from the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yep.
And we get a shot of Homer drooling at the commercial. Which is kind of cool because it's actually a recycled cell or cells from Bart's Friend Falls in Love, where he's drooling over food during that commercial.
And they mirror flip the image.
Yeah.
Because if you notice, and I saw it, and that's how I kind of knew, and I kind of looked up where this came from, because the lamp, their tall lamp, is on the left side of the screen. And if they had done it correctly, it should have been on the right side of the screen.
I'm a fan of all you can eat. Everyone a fan of all you can eat?
I love all you can eat.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
It's a little too crazy. I can't eat like Homer.
No.
No. Nobody can eat like Homer.
No, he's the monster, which we will learn. But I mean, I think my top favorite is we have an all you can eat like hibachi grill place.
Ooh.
So that place is usually really good. And I used to do, the never ending pasta at Olive Garden. And I feel like at one point I know the waiter was starting to get very frustrated that I kept getting more and more dishes.
I remember that. I was there for that.
So I feel Homer's pain of them getting very grumpy.
Yeah, there's a great all-you-can-eat Chinese place here in Green Bay that I like to go to from time to time. But they got really expensive because people were wasting a lot of food.
Yeah, how do you waste food? Just take what you can eat.
People's eyes are too big for their stomachs.
It's the famous slogan. Take all you can eat, but eat what you take.
Sure.
Yeah. You never heard that?
No.
Oh. Well, jeez.
Tough crowd.
Get with the times.
Yep.
So Homer wants to go, but Marge is, hesitant because we learn Marge is allergic to seafood.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of people. I mean, I feel like if I was going to be allergic to anything, I think I'd be okay being allergic to seafood.
Yeah. So now we've learned a couple allergies on The Simpsons. So we learned a couple episodes ago that Maggie is allergic to peaches.
Yes.
And now we learn that Marge is allergic to shellfish.
Yeah.
And Homer's allergic to nothing.
Nope.
Apparently.
He's allergic to not eating.
Yes. And so, a couple goes by. So now we get a cut shot of the next door neighbor's house. And a couple goes by to look at the Winfield's house. And I don't know how many people, well, I guess if we all bought houses, I've owned a house.
I've bought a house.
You bought a house. Kevin, do you own a house?
Oh, no, I do not.
No, okay. So you don't know the pain of this yet.
Yeah.
But so the wife basically goes in. She's like, I don't know much about haggling or bargaining. I'm just willing to pay, whatever the Winfields want. Which, I mean, that's definitely not how you go into house hunting.
No, No.
Yeah.
Well, now it depends. It depends on the housing market, because if the housing market is super hot in Springfield, they're just going to be like, you know what, we'll just pay whatever, they priced it at. Whereas, if the housing market sucks and it's a buyer's market because, people selling houses can't sell their house, you don't go in and say, I'll pay whatever they want.
Yeah.
Especially when you know what the housing market is like.
The real question is, who really wants to move to Springfield?
I do.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone wants
Seems
to live
like a
in
nice little town.
Yeah.
I can commit so many crimes and get away with it, Steve.
Right.
Kevin.
So the spouse looks, as like a slimmed down version of, dark skinned version of Homer with hair, which kind of interesting. Yeah. I think they're trying to go with the what if someone like Homer moved in next door.
Yes.
That's
weird.
And like I like how the realtor's like, oh, perfect, great, this is gonna be awesome. And then we hear Homer burp from next door.
Oh my god, I love this. I've never known a neighbor to do this kind of stuff. So we see Homer in like a little kiddie pool, and he's like, chilling out in his front yard. Look, it's his house, it's his property. He can do whatever he wants. Is it right? That's for you to decide. But he pulls a half-eaten hot dog out of the water to eat. And so, they see it, the couple see it, and they're like, nope, we out. We're not buying this because we don't want to be neighbors with this gross man next door.
I swear to God, I think he's naked in that pool.
I bet you he is.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I mean, now, if I was buying a house and I saw that, I might go over and be like, hey, you got any more hot dogs? And if he says no, then I'm not going to buy the house. So now we also see Bart and Lisa sneaking into the Winfield's house through the basement. And
I feel like this is a Looney Tunes style reference because they're like tiptoeing by the mailbox or tiptoeing behind the house. Like,
well, we do know they like to, reference Looney Tunes. And then we get into the basement, and so Bart goes, this is where the Winfields hide their mutated son. Bart, the Winfields didn't have a son. See that sock over there? It was his only friend. And we see Bart pick up a sock and put it on his hand, and he starts talking to Lisa. Hello, Lisa. Here in the dark, you won't need those eyes. Let me have them. Lisa. Bart, that's not funny. And then Bart goes, there is some say the monster is still. And then Bart turns around and does that little eyelid flippy thing, which I hate. Oh, yes. My God, I hate that so much. And he goes, here. And he makes Lisa scream and run out of the room. And Bart laughs. And then we hear an unknown voice go, friend. And the person grabs Bart's shoulders. Bart yells and faints. And now we get to meet Laura Powers, who is the daughter of the woman
Ruth
who moved
Powers.
into the woods. Yep. So we'll get to the question in a second. And she goes, hey kid, wake up. And Bart goes, who are you? She introduces himself as Laura, the new neighbor. She asks if he's all right, and Bart thinks, say something. Tell her she's beautiful. Say something clever. Bart, I fell on my bottom. Bart's brain. Joe, now here's my question. We saw the one couple that didn't buy the house.
Yeah.
So how far of a time frame are we looking at here between that and because it almost seems like Bart and Lisa snuck in on that same day.
It does, but it has to be at least 30 days to, 45 days for someone to buy a house, sign the paperwork, get ready to move in sort of thing. But it could have been one of those things where
maybe they bought the house, like maybe that was the day they put the offer in and it was accepted.
No. I'm thinking there was supposed to be like a good gap. There was probably no way to do it, but I feel like there could have been a great gap, and Bart and Lisa are like, oh, no one's bought this house yet. Let's go sneak in, sort of thing. Like, like if there was a more of a separated gap of somehow to show a time jump.
Yeah,
I think that would have been a little bit more, just a better play on it, because we would then see, oh, no one's been buying this house, and oh well, and so Bart and Lisa are thinking, okay, let's sneak in, and no one's there.
That's fair. So Laura Powers is voiced by Sarah Gilbert, and for those who don't remember her, she was Darlene on Roseanne, or she was the chick who was Shelton's like nemesis on The Big Bang Theory.
Oh.
I don't remember the character's name because I wasn't a huge Big Bang Theory fan, but I did watch a couple of those episodes.
Yeah, I thought the name sounded familiar.
So, yeah. And no, she did not. That was Mayim Bialik who guest hosted Jeopardy.
I wasn't thinking that.
No. Well, yeah. So now we get the clumsy student movers, and we hear a kid drop something and say, "Not again." Why would you hire a company that's called that?
Well, because people hire two men. What is it? 2 men in a truck or something. And then I don't know if you guys have this out in San Jose, but there's a company around here that's called like College Movers, and there's like literally a topless hung college student on the side of the truck as the logo. And yes,
I don't think we have those over here.
No. Probably a good idea, but were they weren't topless, were they?
Who, the movers in The Simpsons?
Yeah.
I don't think we really saw them, but no.
Okay. Because I feel like a lot of the kids that do it around here, they do it topless to show off their muscles, that they're strong and can lift things into the house.
Also, if it's like the summertime and it's super hot out.
Yeah, it's a good idea. And so one of the movers, when the kid that dropped it and said it, I swear it sounded like the pimple kid from Krusty Burger.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that.
So maybe they were testing out a voice just to see how it sounded or flied. Crazy. So a couple small things we like to point out and notice. So we get Marge coming over and giving Ruth Powers a welcome basket from the Springfield Welcome-mobile.
I've never gotten a welcome basket.
No, I don't know many. I bet you really small towns, though, have that sort of thing. Like, if it's a town of, 500 people or less.
Yeah.
I bet there's, welcome wagons.
I will say, though, when I moved into my first apartment back here in Green Bay, the apartment complex gave me, a bag of goodies.
Yep.
And also a frozen pizza. So, Kevin, I don't know if your apartment complex did that for you or wherever you live.
No. Sounds too big.
Yeah. But yes, the basket came with a lot of fun stuff. Yeah. It included a pot holder from the pot holder barn. So nice. I mean, when I moved into my first house, they got us a cutting board with our names on it and everything.
Ooh.
Which is kind of cool. A coupon for a free tattoo with every tattoo removal. So must be the same house. The tattoo parlor must remove tattoos as well.
Yes.
And they're like, if you're removing a tattoo, you might as well get a new one. and one free beer from Moe's.
I thought this was kind of funny because, as we know, Moe is a very surly older gentleman, and there's no way he'd want to do this.
Well, there was the one episode where he says, "I never give out free alcohol."
Yes.
And then ever since then, we see every time we're at Moe's, I swear to God, he's giving out free booze.
Or Barney's stealing it.
Or Barney, yeah. Yep. So, I mean, it's really funny that they went to Moe's and Moe agreed to... Yeah. Maybe he thought it's such a dive bar that no one would actually go to Moe's for the free beer.
Correct.
And so Ruth, comes, she's talking about, Springfield, and she has her doubts about moving after the Time cover story, America's Worst City.
Yikes.
Which, yeah, I wouldn't probably, like I said earlier, I don't think I'd move to Springfield, but I bet they got a great deal on that house.
Yeah.
And so Marge says their house was in the picture of that cover story. So... I'm sure...
she seemed proud of it, too.
She seemed pretty happy, yeah.
Well, I guess if you're going to be featured in a magazine, it's good press is, or bad press is good press?
Any press is good press.
Or any press is good press. Yeah. So, yeah. And so, I do like how that almost ties into, the end of the episode, which we'll get to, but it's so funny how, the Simpsons are just so proud to show off their crappy existence. And so the last thing in the box is for the man of the house, Das Butt.
Triple X.
A triple X rated movie. And the Simpsons definitely have a video store.
I told you this is a raunchy episode.
No, I know, but I'm just saying. So the Simpsons, so Springfield does have a video rental store. This must be one of those video rental stores with the back room with the curtains.
Yeah,
because I haven't seen any other rental places in Springfield. They tend to go to the same place.
Yeah.
As Ruth tells Marge, her and her husband are divorced because of his career, and they show Homer in the backyard arguing with the dog over the hammock because the dog is laying in it.
No, that's my hammock.
My dog every once in a while will lay on my spot on the couch, and he gives me those puppy dog eyes like, I'm not moving.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's okay for a dog to take your spot because they're cute and cuddly.
Well, the joke here is that, Ruth's husband left because of his career and Homer is an idiot.
But Homer has a career.
Does he though?
I don't know. He never goes. Maybe he does. He's on the downfall of going to Springfield, going to the power plant now, I think. But so now we get to on the front of the house, we get Bart and Laura talking, and we get some really, really classic kid pranks like the "Would you like a Hertz donut?" And Bart's
I'm surprised Bart didn't know that one.
Yeah, that one was kind of weird. No, wasn't Bart asking Laura if she knew these things?
Oh, it's possible, yeah.
Yeah, because Bart asked her if she knows what a wet willy is. Because we all know Bart loves giving wet willies on the playground. Yeah, Bart was asking and she punches him and says Hertz donut.
Yeah.
Did you guys fall for that in middle school? I think I fell for it once.
I probably fell for it.
I think so.
Yeah, I think everyone falls for it. Although, Bart is really funny when it comes to his little pranks, because we all think if one person does it, to stop talking to Bart.
Yes.
So, but then Laura and Kearney comes up with Dolph, and Laura's putting her finger in his ear, and she says that his boyfriend looks like the jealous type, and Dolph says, "Oh, she's messing with her minds." So
and I thought it was kind of weird. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but Dolph did sound like Jimbo.
I guess I didn't necessarily notice.
It definitely, his voice seemed deeper. So Dolph is normally voiced by actress Pamela Hayden. Or I'm sorry, Jimbo is voiced by Pamela Hayden. Dolph is usually voiced by Tress MacNeille. So I kind of wonder if maybe they flipped that by accident.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time within, the Simpsons world where they did that with Lenny and Carl early on.
Yes.
So, but I feel like it's so weird though that Dolph and Kearney were walking by themselves and Jimbo was not around. That might have been the setup for the later in the episode, but it is kind of weird to see Jimbo not wandering around with those two.
Yeah, see that. So after, Laura, gets Kearney and Dolph to run away, she does the fortune teller thing with the hand, which I remember actually doing that. I don't remember the part of getting my hand spit in and saying that's the swimming pool.
You don't? That was like, that's like the closer of that.
I don't remember that.
That's weird.
Like, I don't remember it happening to me. I do remember the spitting part, but not having it happen to me.
Did anyone ever spit in your hand,
Kevin?
No.
No.
I've never seen that, only on the show.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a Midwest thing.
Yeah, we're idiots over here.
Yeah. And so Bart does the thing where, you get a crush on a girl and she touches a body part and he goes, "I will never wash this hand again." And he did not wash that hand and it got gross. There was gum on it. I think there was a used Band-Aid, some dirt. Like, oh, that was gross. I'm shocked that Marge didn't get him to wash that hand, but I guess it's Bart. And so, Lisa's yelling at Bart to wash the hand, and Bart's like, "The hand doesn't control, or I don't control the hand. The hand controls me." And then Homer, you know, like they're yelling and Homer calls them monsters and tells them to be quiet. And then he calls because, you know, he wants him and Marge to go to the all-you-can-eat, you know, the Flying Dutchman, and he calls the babysitting service.
Rubber
and like,
baby,
oh,
can you babysitting service?
Can you watch my little angels right after calling them monsters? It was great. And so we get the sister of the old babysitter who used to babysit the kids, and she's just kind of like in a rocking chair back and forth saying, "No, Bart, put that down. Put that down, Bart. No." Like
that wasn't the babysitter that Bart tried running over in the car.
I don't think so.
Okay.
No. So yeah, that was great because we know Bart. I mean, we've gotten this joke prior where, you know, babysitters do not want to sit the Simpson kids because they're horrible people.
Not Lisa. Well, Lisa kinda, but not really.
She's influenced by Bart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Homer, like, after the babysitter's like, "No, we're not going to do it." Homer's like, "Man, I wear my extra loose pants for nothing," and stands up, and they actually slide off his body. He wasn't lying. They were extra loose.
Well, it's better to wear extra loose pants than releasing your belt after you're done eating.
I thought I was kind of waiting for him to say that, and then they didn't slide down because Homer's so fat. That's what I was waiting for.
Were they sweatpants? I feel like he could have just worn sweatpants and been happy.
Yeah. So Lisa mocks Bart for, you know, wanting Laura to babysit because Bart mentions, "Oh, why don't we get Laura to babysit?" And Bart lunges at Lisa with his gross hand, but misses, and it gets stuck to the dog, who then chases after the cat, and he's like, "Well, maybe it is time to wash this hand."
Yeah.
You think, Bart?
I mean,
I thought that was funny.
I could say I definitely had a crush on one of our babysitters. It was I can't remember her name now because I'm way too old, but she lived in a house down the block from us, and she always babysat me and Robert when we were kids, and definitely always. Well, I think you were definitely younger because I babysat you once we got to that age. But no. Like there was a girl down the road that man always wanted her to come over and babysit. It was awesome. I mean, Robert, obviously we grew up together, but Kevin, did you have a babysitter that you remember that it was like?
No, not really. My sister was like 3 years older than me, so we kind of just like hung out together.
Yeah.
And my parents like didn't really care what I did. I was like I was the second child, and obviously my sister did all the bad stuff before me. So by the time it was like I'm up to bat, they're just like whatever.
Yeah. See, I'm older than Robert, so I guess at a certain point she's just started babysitting you, and
yeah. I don't remember having a female babysitter. I mean, I'm sure we did. My memory is shot. And so, you know, Ruth asks Homer to hook her up with one of her. So Homer goes over to help her with some stuff.
Why would Homer go? Did she invite him, or did Homer just wander over there? Hey, you need some help?
Marge. Oh no, Homer went over there to ask Ruth to have Laura babysit.
That's right.
Yeah. And so Ruth asks Homer to hook her up with one of his friends because she has a quote unquote appetite. And Homer's like, "Wait, we're not talking about food, right?" She's like, "No, we're talking about sex." He's like, "Okay." Like, this, again, for the third time in this episode, I'm going to say it, this episode is raunchy. Like, they're just, like, flat out saying what they want. Like, it's, maybe, like, because this is 92, and this is, like, when my friends and I were starting to get to that age where we might be able to watch something like this. Maybe this was an episode that parents saw, and they were like, "No, this is why kids are not allowed to watch this episode, like, this show."
Yeah. But
I could definitely see if our parents saw this episode, I don't think they would allow me to watch this.
Maybe. I mean, our dad let me watch quite a bit of stuff, so.
Like, my mom, like, our mom did not want me watching South Park when I was, like, 11, so.
Probably not a good idea.
Yeah, it's still great.
Yeah.
And so, you know, Homer is like, okay, and we cut back to the Simpsons house, and Bart is taking a bath. And Lisa, you know, so I've never walked in on Steve taking baths. I don't think Steve ever walked in me. Now, granted, we're both guys. We probably don't need to walk in on each other. I was surprised when Lisa did this.
Well, there were bubbles all. It's the standard TV show trope where they're in the bathtub, there's bubbles everywhere, and you can't see anything within the water.
That's fair. So Lisa, like, walks in and like, oh, you're bathing for Laura. And Bart says like, hey, maybe a guy just wants his skin to look its yellowest. So they clearly know they're yellow.
That's awesome.
It's great. It's absolutely fantastic. And so, the Homer and Marge have left and Laura's over. And she's chilling with Lisa and Maggie. And Bart comes in looking all spiffy. And he greets Laura wearing a nice jacket and a pipe that blows bubbles.
And Kevin, this is it. This is your scene.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is the scene. He comes in looking like a Hugh Hefner, trying to be older and swaggier, just to like get her attention, because he's what is he in third grade?
Fourth grade, 10 years old.
Oh, he's in fourth grade, and she's probably like in eighth grade. I'm guessing.
Maybe 9.
Maybe high school. I'm trying to. Well, this is where it gets kind of tricky, because we don't necessarily know how old Dolph, Kearney, and Jimbo are, because at some point they wind up at the elementary school, in class. Well, at least Jimbo does. Jimbo's in classes. Dolph and Kearney are definitely older, but even Jimbo looks like a teenager. So
Jimbo has a kid that we learn about in like 10 seasons.
Yeah. But I feel like the age at some point gets really skewed, because we see Jimbo in school with Nelson, but then we see Jimbo hanging out with Dolph and Kearney, who are clearly older.
Yeah.
So I mean, if Laura's in middle school, maybe early high school, why would yes, Jimbo's a bad boy and I get it, but why would Laura even look at another elementary school person if she's not interested in Bart?
Yeah, it's interesting to say the least. And so, Bart's being all suave, and Laura asks the kids what they want for dinner, and Lisa goes, well, why don't you ask Bart? Or why don't you ask Hef over there? Which obviously Hugh Hefner.
That was awesome. That was great. I love that Lisa Simpson knows who Hugh Hefner is.
Yeah, it was great. And so, Bart sits down and goes, whatever you ladies want. He like blows his pipe, his bubble pipe. And so they call a restaurant. 2 guys from Kabul. Food is half price. And I believe it's like an Indian restaurant. Yep. And so I love how like the guy answers and like the other guy yells at him like why they don't ever get service, and but they ended up, Laura ends up ordering a ton of food from them, as we see in a little bit.
Which is kind of funny. I love how like this restaurant just exists for no purpose but to, I was it a knock on Indian food?
I don't know. Maybe they were trying to be cultural and
like, I just don't know. I'm still not a fan of Indian food.
So I love Indian food. It's so good.
So I don't necessarily know, but in the 90s, there wasn't a lot of cultural restaurants, especially in Racine, where we grew up. There's very little to no cultural restaurants.
And now it's just like everywhere.
Yep. So maybe it was just kind of a knock, in the 90s it was like, oh, small towns don't have cultural anything, and no one wants to eat at it. And so we finally get to cut to the Flying Dutchman, and Marge is looking through the menu, and she's like, well, what doesn't have fish in this? And so Marge is like, what about the bread? Does the bread have much fish in it? And I'm like, why would you? Bread doesn't have fish. Like,
but it does. At this restaurant, it does.
Yeah, the waiter's like, yes. Well, I have some Tic Tacs in my purse. Excellent choice. like the waiter's like, perfect. I don't even need to deal with you. And then he gets to Homer. All you can eat. And he's like, all right, when you're ready, take this plate over And Homer's already at the buffet and carrying away a steamed tray of shrimp.
Oh my god. So good. It's such a Homer thing to do.
I know, and the cook's like, Sir, don't take the tray.
Kevin, have you ever taken an entire tray at an all-you-can-eat buffet?
Nah, that's a Homer thing.
Okay.
I mean, we were at, I don't know if you guys ever heard of Pizza Ranch.
Yes, it's
Okay.
garbage.
Yep.
Sorry, Pizza Ranch.
But I always thought it was funny to go to the all you can eat buffet area and just grab an entire pizza for the table, because I was like, look, you can either order a whole pizza for your table, but you have to pay more, or you can just go to the all you can eat thing and steal a pizza and bring it back to your table. I mean, they're going to make another pizza anyway, so why not?
Yeah.
I figured that was a good way to do it. And so now we cut back to the Simpson house, and Laura is teaching Maggie how to waltz with the cat, which is awesome.
Amazing.
And I feel like Laura's playing on Bart's, I don't know, like, infatuation with her, maybe? But she's like, Bart, if I could teach Maggie to dance with the cat, I could teach you to waltz. And so Laura's like, here, put your hand here. And it's on his hip.
Okay.
Bart's starting to get the crackly voice. And so we get a fantasy sequence of Laura and Bart dancing, where it ends with Laura giving Bart a wedgie, which, hey man, in a fantasy and Bart knowing kind of Laura's personality,
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
And so we cut back to the place, and Homer's still just gouging. And, you know, we find out that Homer's literally eaten almost everything, including a plastic lobster.
Jeez. You'd think he would know it was plastic and not to eat it. But again, this is Homer Simpson.
Yeah, and it looked like a lobster, so.
Yeah.
And so the sea captain's like, "'Tis no man, but a remorseless eating machine." And so now Homer's getting kicked out of the restaurant because my guess is it's closing time.
Yeah.
Now, okay. I feel like it's one thing if you get there for like early dinner, let's say 5:30.
Yeah.
And you eat, and most restaurants I feel like close 10, 11 o'clock. If you're there from 5:30 to the closing time, kicking someone out, I would say is definitely within the restaurant's purview.
It's also closing time.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. It's closing time.
Yeah.
Like, it's just crazy. But the other thing, too, is you think Marge would want to leave so she can get back home to her kids.
See, if I were Marge, I'd be like, I'm taking a taxi. Drive home when you're done. Yeah, I mean, Homer's not drinking. He's just eating. So Marge could take a taxi home or the car, and Homer could take a taxi home.
Yeah.
But I love how like they get the buff like Navy guys to carry Homer out. And so I love this next interaction. This is amazing. And so Homer's doing his pacing thing like he does when he's upset in the bedroom. Yeah. And Homer's like, "This is my quest. I'm like that guy. The Spanish guy. You know, who fought the windmill? Don Quixote? No, that's not it. What's his name? The man from La Mancha. Don Quixote. No. I think that was the character's name. Don Quixote. Fine, I'll look it up." Like, Homer has a copy of Don Quixote?
Yeah.
I don't... Maybe he ran to Lisa's room.
Maybe.
And Marge's like, "Well, who was it?" Never mind.
I see, and that's the thing about this episode. I totally forgot about, like, I knew about this scene.
Oh, yeah.
And I forgot about which episode it was in. I love it. I love it so much.
So great. And so we get Laura and Bart at the Quickie Mart, which I didn't think the Quickie Mart had arcade games.
Well, now they do.
Now they do. So they're playing Escape from Death Row, which I believe we saw at the actual arcade place.
Yes.
Well, awesome arcade. And then Apu, starts to notice Bart likes Laura. Yeah. It's just like, you got a crush on her, huh? But I like how Bart is trying to tell Laura how to play this arcade game.
Yeah. Well, it's Bart. He's got a crush. He wants to be helpful.
Well, Laura's like, if I would have hit the remorse button one more time, I would have won. Oh, Kevin, you like our arcade games? They're fun.
Yeah. I don't really like all these like new like first person shooter stuff. I like the old school like games.
Yeah. Do you have one of those like old school like 80s and 90s arcade bars in San Jose? I'm sure there's got to be a couple of those.
Yeah. We have a really cool downtown. It's called Mini Boss. So you can go there like eat and drink, and there's like tons of like games. You just like feed quarters.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Do they have the Simpsons arcade?
They do.
Nice. Are you going to pre-order the Simpsons arcade cabinet next week?
I signed up for that thing where they're gonna email me. Are you guys gonna buy one?
Yeah, I'm definitely getting one. I'm clearing out of space. I'm clearing out of space in my other room specifically for it, because this game. Super dope. I mean, there's a old school like pizza joint at one of our malls that has the Simpsons arcade game, and they finally fixed it up. Like the screen was crap, the controls were pretty bad, but they finally fixed that thing up, and it is just amazing just to walk in there and play some Simpsons arcade.
I thought Uptown in Minneapolis had the Simpsons arcade as well.
Yep, they do have it there as well. Yeah, so I'm going to be having some Simpsons arcade parties at my house, I'm sure.
Nice.
And so now Homer goes to see Lionel Hutz at the now I don't remember if this must be a new name for his law firm, because I think we've talked about this before. But
no, I think it's the same one.
It's the same. Okay. At I can't believe it's a law firm. Like, I can't believe it's not butter.
Yep.
If you young kids that listen to our podcast don't get that joke.
Yep.
But I think it's still around. So, but Homer's like, all you can eat? Ha. Lionel Hutz, Mr. Simpson, this is the most blatant case of fraudulent advertising since my suit against the film The Never-Ending Story.
Oh my god, that's such a great line.
Oh, that's perfect. Homer's like, do you think I have a case? Now, Homer, I don't use the word hero very often, but you are the greatest hero in American history. I think I have to agree with Lionel Hutz on this one.
Oddly enough, I don't think Lionel Hutz has ever lost a case for The Simpsons.
Well, no, because the Simpsons lose their own cases.
That's the thing. Lionel Hutz is a great attorney. So there's a guy I watch who's a lawyer who does a lot of law videos, and he actually ranks a lot of fictional lawyers, and he put Lionel Hutz as an A-tier lawyer.
Really?
Which is just below S tier, which is really good. So Lionel Hutz is a fantastic attorney.
Well, he loses all the cases, but he himself doesn't cause the loss.
Yes.
It's usually Homer or Bart or Marge who causes the Simpsons to go under.
So now, Bart, he's seeking advice for how to woo a woman. So he goes to see Grandpa Abe. And I don't know the guy's name, but another older gentleman who's at the old folks home comes out and he's like, well,
I could be your grandpa.
I could be your grandpa. Well, and Bart's like, I don't know this man. And he's like, I could be your grandpa. Can your grandfather do this? And the guy starts doing a little jig. And the nurse comes by and goes, oh.
Is that the same guy that does this old man just ain't what he used to be?
I think
with the
so.
Pants on his knee?
Yeah, I think so. And so Abe comes running in, sees that it's Bart, and he's like, oh, you remembered my birthday. Which, either it was his birthday and the Simpsons forgot, or Grandpa's old and doesn't know when his birthday is. I'm going to go with the first one, because it's a Simpson thing to do to forget somebody's birthday.
Yeah.
And
Homer has forgotten Bart's birthday, Lisa's birthday, Marge's birthday, and now he's forgetting his own dad's birthday.
Yeah. And so Bart, gives him a bus schedule, and Abe's like, oh, bus schedule. It fits right in my pocket. Bart asks
a bus schedule.
Yeah, right. So Bart asks, Abe about women, and
yeah. It's just really funny. He's like, yeah, I fell in love with a woman, and that was older than her, and but she fell in with that Guinness Book of World Records crowd. Suddenly, she didn't have any time for me. Oh, I wore a 15-pound beard of bees for that woman, but it wasn't enough.
Have you guys now? What would you guys say is the craziest thing you guys did to try to woo a woman?
God, I don't know.
Kevin?
I'm not too sure.
I don't think I've done anything that insane. I don't think I'd wear bees.
Yeah.
That'd be nuts. Now, would I try to break a world record to woo a woman? I probably would. Wouldn't be the bees thing. I'm trying to think. There was one. Oh, the M&M one. I don't know if you guys read this, but online there was someone broke the Guinness World Record for the number of M&Ms stacked on top of one another.
Yeah, it's like
Whoa.
5.
5.
Yeah, it's 5.
And I got to thinking, I'm like, I could beat 5. It's really hard to beat 5. It's hard to beat 3.
So after all that, Bart decides to go ask Homer questions about women. And
this is just another classic Homer line.
Yeah, and so Homer's like
super funny.
Yeah, and Marge thinks Homer should talk to Bart, and Homer thinks Bart should learn the same way he did, and so we get a flashback of Homer watching monkeys at the zoo having sex.
Mr. Zookeeper, those monkeys are killing each other.
And the zookeeper's like, sex. He's like, oh. And so, Homer and Bart are sitting there, and Homer tells Bart, a woman is a lot like a refrigerator. They're about 6 feet tall, 300 pounds, and they make ice. Actually, no, women are more like a beer. They smell good. They look good. You would step over your own mother just to get one, but you can't stop just at one. And you want to drink another woman. And Homer gets up, goes to the fridge, drinks a beer, and we come back after about 15 beers, and Homer's just like, and he passes out, and Bart walks away.
At first, I almost started misquoting it. I could have sworn it wasn't this episode. I'm not going to ruin what episode it was, but I thought this was the one where Homer goes, and there's red M&Ms and blue M&Ms, but they all wind up the same flavor in the end. I could have. I know, but it's definitely a Homer drinking an excess amount of beer and saying that. I honestly thought it was this episode, but it wasn't. I was kind of sad. But then I remembered
he says that at Moe's.
At Moe's, yep. But yeah, I thought it was this one, but it was not. So
nope.
I got ahead of myself. I was kind of sad, but but so now we get Bart in his room, and Laura comes up to the window. It's like, Bart, meet me in the treehouse. I got to tell you something. And funny enough, it is kind of amazing that Bart has become such good friends with Laura.
Yeah.
I get what happens, but it's amazing the experience you actually kind of see with Bart and this, girl next door, basically.
Yeah.
And obviously he gets shoved into the friend zone, which we've all been there.
Yep.
But Laura, goes up to Bart. Oh, I'm so happy. I just had to tell someone. I have a boyfriend. And, the scene blurs into Bart's fantasy, and Laura's casually reaching into Bart's chest and pulls out her heart. And she says, you will be needing this. And then she drop kicks it in Bart's heart into a wastebasket. And all that reminded me of is the hamster getting hucked into the basket.
Oh, Santa's little helper surgery.
Yep. Yeah. That was really that's kind of where my mind went. I thought that was pretty funny.
But I think we've all been there.
Yep. Where a girl that you like comes up to you, is like, oh, I have a boyfriend. I'm like, damn it, I missed my window.
Yep.
Because there's always a window.
Yep.
What was that? The How I Met Your Mother, the window episode.
Yep.
And so, we learn, we hear like a motorcycle pull up or one of those dirt bikes. Mopeds, dirt bikes pull up, and we learn that it's Jimbo. And
Jimbo Jones.
And then we get a flashback of Jimbo giving Bart a swirly, which I'm guessing younger Bart, because he's wearing a green shirt and blue pants, which isn't your normal Bart. But funny enough, the green shirt, blue pants was part of the unlicensed Simpsons toys back in the 90s.
Oh.
So people couldn't do red shirt, blue pants because they weren't licensed, so they couldn't, use it. So as the knockoffs were, it was green shirt, blue pants. And that's what we actually see in the Simpsons arcade game. Is green shirt, blue pants Bart. So either Bart decided to change from green to red in the Simpsons universe, or it was kind of a knock at the video games that were being made in the 90s.
Yeah.
And so I love, this is awesome. Skinner's waiting to use the bathroom, which is weird because it appears to be 2 stalls, but Skinner's like, you done in there? He's like, Jimbo's like, no. And so she's like, all right, I can wait. And we see Principal Skinner holding a modern Principal magazine.
Yes.
Which is awesome. And so Laura likes Jimbo because he's a outlaw, bad boy. And he's like, he poked a dead body behind the mayor's house.
Dude, I want to hear this story. Can we cut and like talk about this dead body behind the mayor's house? I feel like they're leaving out a lot of information here.
So I didn't look it up what year it was, but I almost think this is like a Stand By Me reference.
Oh yeah.
Because, the older kid is, I poked a dead body over by the railroad tracks. And then, all the younger kids want to go see. So.
It could be. Stand By Me came out in 86.
All right. It was probably loose, but I could see Stand By Me reference. Older body poking dead bodies.
Yeah.
Somewhere. So. But we all know the mayor likes to have Fat Tony whack people. So.
Yes.
Could be that, too. And, Laura comes on, hops onto the back of the bike, and Jimbo's like, why are you hanging out with that dork? And he's like, leave him alone, he's just a kid yeah.
Love this part coming
and
out.
then Bart's like, I'll show them who's just a kid. And then Marge calls out, like, I laid out your jammy jams. That's good. And so this scene, God, this is just another food. I think the artists just haven't gotten.
I honestly thought they were eating a giant plate of mashed potatoes.
Either that or, wasn't it eggs? Because Marge.
It was eggs.
Yeah, but what's with the Simpsons and eating piles of goo? Like, I feel like the artist just either gave up or like
maybe back in the 90s it was just really hard to draw food.
Dude, I could draw a steak. It's not that hard to draw a steak. Or Homer can have steak every episode for all it matters.
Money's too tight for steak.
Oh, steak. Yeah, steak. But I feel like they could draw. Meatloaf's not hard to draw. But I feel like it's just blobs of food is what the Simpsons tend to eat. But it's just really funny that they just mealtime with eggs. And so, what was it, Lisa, right? Lisa's like, good luck on your trumped up lawsuit. And I was like, oh, thanks a lot. That means so much.
And I'm pretty sure she was being sarcastic.
Yeah. But Homer doesn't get sarcasm.
No, he doesn't. And so Laura comes over to babysit the kids again, and she tells him she wants them in bed before Jimbo gets over. And, Bart asks Laura what she likes about him. She goes, Jimbo is, or he says, Jimbo's just a good-looking rebel who plays by his own rules. And then both Lisa and Laura go, aww, like that swoon thing.
But Lisa, I love how, like, Bart attached himself to Laura in a certain way in this episode. Yeah. And Lisa has attached herself to Laura a certain way, which is kind of cool. But I didn't think Laura was in, or not Laura, Lisa was into boys yet. She hasn't called the Corey hotline yet, right?
No,
she's not on that yet. So,
and we do know, like, the thing is with Bart, he's 10. I feel like around the age of 10 is like right around when boys start getting into what they want to get into.
Yeah.
So. Now we cut to the trial, which is weird because it's a lawsuit. I don't think there would be a trial.
Yeah.
And we find out Captain McAllister is not a real captain.
And everyone's like, oh, no.
And so we get the blue-haired lawyer, and he's like, I want to show the court how much Homer ate. He's like, bring him in, boys. And like these guys with bags upon bags of 18,000 letters all written to Santa Claus are brought out. And
so this is a movie moment. The courtroom scene in which, all the bailiffs march in with the bags and bags of letters addressed to Santa Claus is a parody of the film Miracle on 34th Street.
Yeah, I didn't get it. Also, they're in the wrong courtroom.
Yeah, they are. It's supposed to be People versus Kris Kringle.
Yeah. Once again, I want to hear this story. Why are the people suing Kris Kringle?
Go watch Miracle on 34th Street. You'll get the story. There it is. There's your story. Just go watch that movie.
Yeah, and so while Homer was at the all-you-can-eat place, he ate a bag of flour.
No, that was at home. She was the Marge was on the stand, and she was like, they were talking about everything. He's like, yeah, once ate a whole bag of flour.
Yeah, and so while in the middle of the trial, a pizza order shows up for Homer. Because Homer, we gotta pile on that Homer loves food, and I feel like this probably wouldn't be allowed in court.
Oh, it's almost like the hot dog guy at the Springfield Film Festival, and Marge always asks the hot dog guys, "Are you following my husband around?"
Yeah.
Homer gets food at the most wildest places.
Yeah, and then we find out what happened after they left the restaurant.
Yep, and Lionel Hutz like, Mrs. Simpson, what did you and your husband do after you were ejected from the restaurant? We pretty much went straight home. Mrs. Simpson, you're under oath. We drove around until 3 a.m. looking for another all-you-can-eat fish restaurant. And when you couldn't find one, we went fishing. And she breaks down in tears. Yeah. It's like, do these seems like the action of a man who had all he could eat?
And then we get the jury of basically all fatter people. It's like one of the jurists goes, that could have been me.
Yeah. I don't think jury selection went very well for the blue-haired lawyer.
Yeah. So the sea captain talks to Homer because he realizes he's probably going to lose this lawsuit. And he makes a deal with Homer to make him an attraction at the Flying Dutchman. He goes, bottomless Pete. Nature's cruelest mistake.
Oh, it's so great. I love it. And he's just sitting there, what was it? Stay for the food. I can't remember what it was.
It was come to see the freak and then stay for the food or something.
Yeah. I like how there's just a line outside the restaurant.
And
hideous.
Yeah.
And which is the second episode in a row where that is yelled out at Homer. The last episode where their house was slanting and Bart was like, see the cue ball, the hairless freak, and a woman goes, he's hideous.
Yep.
And so in that episode, Homer doesn't realize he's on display. Obviously in this episode, he does realize he's on display.
Yeah.
So we get I don't know why the Simpsons decided to do that, but here we are. And so now we cut.
It's pretty funny that like she, Marge is like just staying there with him, like like she doesn't have to be there while he's.
Yeah, I know.
He's working, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just funny. Yeah, you're right. I mean, Marge just looks all downtrodden. Like, why is he an attraction? Just go home, Marge.
Yeah.
I want to know, is the Flying Dutchman paying Homer to be an attraction, or is his payment all you can eat food?
I'm pretty sure it's all you can eat food because that was what the lawsuit was about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So now we cut back to the Simpsons house where Bart prank calls Moe.
Yep. And it's like Moe answers the phone. He's like, hold on, I'll check. Amanda Hugging Kiss? Hey, I'm looking for Amanda Hugging Kiss. Why can't I find Amanda Hugging Kiss? Maybe your standards are too high. Barney, that was great.
Now, before the prank phone call, Ruth went in to try to get a free beer with the coupon, and I was like, stupid welcoming committee. You didn't have to.
Yeah, he didn't have to donate a ticket to the...
Yeah, and I love how like Moe refuses, like, this is Bo's Cavern. Why does it say Mo out front?
Oh, that was awesome. And but yeah, Mo threatens to stick a sausage down Bart's throat and put starving dogs in his butt. It's like, and then Bart tells Mo that his name is, I'm Jimbo Jones, and I live at 1094 Evergreen Terrace. And
which I believe that's a continuity error, because isn't it 742?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say it's not a continuity error. It's just the writers or whoever was on staff probably forgot the address. But we get quite a few until we get the 742 Evergreen Terrace. There's actually a few addresses that the Simpsons live at.
Yeah.
Before they settle on an actual address.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah. So, where am I? I lost. Oh, so Mo's about to run out of the bar, and he turns around, tells Barney not to steal any beer while he's gone. And Barney says, "What do you take me for, a pathetic drunk?" And then he proceeds to drink beer out of an ashtray. It's like, ooh, someone left an extra drunk beer in an ashtray.
Gross.
Oh, the alcoholic Barney.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's back. I don't know if you've been watching the newer seasons, Kevin, but
no.
I'm glad drunk Barney's back, because he got sober for a bit.
I haven't really seen the new ones.
Yeah, some of them are pretty good.
But I was watching the episode after this one. We find out how Barney gets into beer.
Yep.
I'm not sure you guys watched the next one yet.
Nope, I haven't gotten to that.
Not yet, but I love Mr. Plow. Mr. Plow.
Yeah,
Mr. Plow. A very classic episode, and I can't wait to do that one, because that's just it's amazing. And so Mo goes into runs like across the field, and is like with a knife, wielding a knife. I don't know if anyone else in Springfield noticed Mo running across a field to someone's house trying to kill him. And then Mo kicks down the door and runs into the house.
So I'd like to point out, so Mo actually presses his face up against the window first.
Oh, yeah.
to see if anybody's home. And I feel like this is the horror trope that, the girl and the guy are kissing.
Yep.
And so, the killer is going to kill them first because they're not, virgins, so to speak.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I love how Mo running over there also is like 1094 Evergreen Terrace. There it is, F9 or somewhere on.
On the map.
On the map.
He's using a map.
He was like super lost.
Yep.
But I feel like, shouldn't he recognize that address as The Simpsons?
Well, no.
Because isn't he friends with Homer?
Yeah, and he's been to Homer's house a couple times.
Yeah, so wouldn't he recognize that house number?
Maybe, but since The Simpsons change the house number all the time, he has no clue.
Maybe.
And so it's like, where's Jimbo Jones? It's like, here. It's like, and goes at a stab, and Jimbo starts crying, and Mo says, I wasn't going to kill you. I was just going to cut you up a little bit. Oh, we did miss that part, though. That's kind of sad. But we missed the part where Jimbo takes off his shirt. It's like, now my pants are chafing me.
Oh, my God.
Oh, Jimbo. You sneaky little bastard.
Yeah.
But yeah, so obviously it's like, all right, fine. And then so Mo checks out. So he's like, oh man, I gotta go check on Barney. And we cut back, who's drinking out of the tap. He's like, oh, my heart stops. Oh, there it goes. I mean, I've been there drinking really fast, and all of a sudden
your heart stopped?
No, I don't think it stopped, but you get that feeling, you get that shortness of breath just because you did something. Honestly, when I'm eating something really, really good and I just don't realize how fast I'm eating, at some point I feel like just my breath has to catch up with me.
I will say the first time I ever really drank in college, I was at a friend's apartment, and like I was clearly drunk, and like I kept going up to my one friend, like, dude, my heart, it's like I can feel the blood, and I was like drunk, obviously. He's like, dude, you're okay. You just had a lot of drink. Like, but my heart, it's racing, and there's a lot of blood. I can feel it.
Yeah. And
so my heart didn't stop. My heart raced faster.
Yep. Yeah. So then Laura breaks up with Jimbo because she wasn't the man, she thought he was.
Yeah.
And And Bart comes down, as usual, a knife-wielding maniac has shown us the way.
Oh, God, that's a fantastic line.
And so Laura tells Bart, hey, if you were old enough to grow a badass teenage mustache.
No, not a badass, just a bad teenage mustache.
She would go out with them in a second and gives him a kiss on the cheek. That was cute. And so Laura and Bart now make a joint phone call. So this is one of the rare episodes. We get 2 prank phone calls to Mo. And so, but this time Laura makes it. Laura's like, hello, I'd like to talk to Ms. Tinkle, first name Ivana. And Mo's like, Ivana Tinkle? Just a sec. Ivana Tinkle. Ivana Tinkle. All right, everybody, put down your glasses. Ivana Tinkle.
That's fantastic.
And then we see Sea Captain and Homer are now at Moe's during the thing, and they become good friends.
Yeah.
So.
Well, because Homer's bringing a crap ton of customers for the Flying Dutchman.
I know.
And the Sea Captain, who's not really a real captain, is probably saving a ton of money off the not having to settle on the lawsuit.
Well, he doesn't really have to do any advertise. Well, I guess they have to advertise Homer.
Homer advertises himself.
Yeah.
So, as we like to do at the end of each episode, is give our final thoughts. And Kevin, we have a scale for how we like to rank each episode. 1 being a dough, which is the lowest. We got 2, eat my shorts. 3, don't have a cow man. 4, sprinkles. And 5, everything's coming up Millhouse. And as we like to do with our guests, we like to let them go first and give their final thoughts and rank it. So, Kevin?
I guess I would rank this a number 5 because it had like so much like different things. A lot of sex and a lot of like it was pretty crazy. Like as a kid watching this and not knowing what sex was at the time. And especially like how you said there was like 2 prank calls. Like when I was rewatching, I was like, I think this is the first time I've seen them do like 2 prank calls in one episode.
Yeah. Okay. So no, it's fantastic. I mean, I was kind of weighing on my options for ranking episodes because I don't like to give 5s away like willy nilly because I like to reserve them for. But after I saw this episode, I'm kind of with you. Everything's coming up Millhouse because I love the Frying Dutchman portion. Like I love this from as a kid. I love this, like just watching it again made me think, oh my god, this episode, this is awesome. And I think it paired really well with the Laura Powers and stuff. So I really think putting those 2 stories, which almost seemed like I wouldn't even say 2 A story. I would say almost like 2 B, even though the Frying Dutchman was a B story. I almost feel like they kind of mashed 2 B stories together.
Yeah.
To make this episode. And I think it just worked really, really well. And a lot of great quotes come out of it. And everything just seemed to line up really, really well. And I'm going to go with 5. Everything's coming up Millhouse.
I absolutely love this episode. As you guys said, you got the 2 prank phone calls. You got a lot of good quotes. I am going to give it I'm still giving it a 5, but I'm giving the part where Bart gets his heart ripped out a 1 only because it hits way too freaking close to home. It's oh my god, I feel you, Bart. I feel you. No, it's a fantastic episode. They did a wonderful job weaving the 2 stories together. I love the trial stuff with Lionel Hutz. Again, I've said this before. Any episode with Phil Hartman in it is fantastic. There's usually 2 exceptions to where I give 5s. You got Phil Hartman or you got a musical number. Those are usually fantastic episodes. Again, phenomenal job. It's one of those episodes that I would love watching again, and it's really good. So,
all right,
5.
Perfect. So let's close it out with our character profile. And this week we have the teenage babysitter of Bart's desires, Laura Powers. Her occupation within the Simpsons universe, a pubescent heartthrob babysitter. That's a good job.
Okay.
You get a lot of money for that job. Her favorite game, messing with Dolph's and Kearney's minds. It's just not hard to do. Those guys are crazy. And I always wondered, I'm like, how did she befriend Dolph and Kearney first? And because she doesn't seem to like Dolph and Kearney, but
she likes Jimbo.
But Jimbo hangs out with Dolph and Kearney. I don't know. It seemed kind of a weird mesh up with them.
That's about the only part of the episode that's kind of weird, like, because we just don't know how she met Jimbo.
She's new to town. It's not like she goes to school with them. I'm not 100% sure how that relationship happened, but gifts, Wet Willies, Hertz Donuts, and Wedgies.
Yep.
I don't know if I consider those gifts. But
you forgot the swimming pool.
Right. The swimming pool in the hand. She likes telling people's fortunes.
Yes.
Her rank, according to her army jacket, is corporal.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing it's her dad's army jacket, if I had to take a guess.
Oh yeah.
And Taste in Boys, rebellious quasi-thugs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, if Bart was older, man, she's right up his alley. I would have to say.
Absolutely.
So, let's close out the episode. First, I'd like to thank Kevin for coming on the show. This has been fantastic. I love your takes on a few of the things that we missed out on. So it's like I said at the top, it's really fun having someone else on to help fill in some of the gaps and bring things that we might miss or just normally don't think about. So thanks again for coming on. If you have anything you'd want to plug, things coming out, if you have a store that people can go shop for your stuff, your social media, go ahead and plug away.
So if you guys want to follow me, it's just San Jose Simpsons on Instagram. I'm planning to make a store soon, but right now I'm just doing like DM orders, so people will like Venmo me, then I'll just ship it out to them. But I'm doing a lot of like apparel, getting into like toys and plushies, and just having fun with like the whole like my little spin on The Simpsons.
Cool,
awesome. So you could check us out on our social media on Facebook, The Simpsons Did It Podcast, on Instagram, The Simpsons Did It Pod, on Twitter, Simpsons Did It PC. If you'd like to donate to our podcast to help us buy merch for all of our fun fans, check us out on buymeacoffee.com/Simpsons Did It. All donations, like I said, go towards merch. Right now we have stickers to give away to everyone, so if you guys donate, you guys get some free stickers, so go check that out. Finally, go check out our channel on YouTube where you can find all of our podcasts in video form. If that's how you want to listen to it. Comment, like, subscribe. We like to hear all your fun feedback on all of our episodes, so go check that out there. And until next time, I'm Steven Skolansky.
And I'm your co-host, Robert Skolansky.
And this has been The Simpsons Did It.
Shh.